In this video, I'm going to talk about the microcap investors' craziness at its finest. If you're new to this channel, my name is Mariusz Konieczny. I run MicroCap Explosions, a private membership website dedicated to microcap stocks, which are ignored and underfollowed by the investment industry. I also wrote 10 books on investing, one of which is available for a free download at microcapexplosions.com. I also created valueinvestinguniversity.com, which is a free resource to make you a more intelligent investor. Okay, have a look at this chart. The stock went from about 30 cents to $10 just to crash about 90%. So from the bottom of it was less than $30 to $10, that's about 33x. So what this tells you is if you put 10 grand into it and you 33x'd it, that's turning into 300,000. And the crazy thing about this stock is that I actually was going to put 100 grand into it because at the low, the name of the company is Millennium with the ticker symbol of MILC. If you followed me for a while, you probably heard me talk about this company. And because at the level where the stock was, which was about, when I was looking at it, it was about 20 something cents. And then I didn't invest in it because I didn't have the liquidity. I didn't have the liquidity and I didn't think it was that great of a bet in comparison to my other ideas. And then I was watching it and then it shot up to $10. And now, of course, when you see something go from 30 cents to $10, of course you get this feeling of, I missed out. And but now it's crashing down 90%. It crashed down about 90%. And this stock is like the example of how insane microcap investors can get. So let's go to my screen. I'm going to show you how the investment thesis was on this stock when I was looking at it back then. And nobody was talking about it. Barely anybody was talking about it. There was no chatter about it on message boards. And then when the stock started moving towards $10, oh my goodness, everybody was interested. Everybody was interested. It was the hottest stock. It was going to go to the moon. The moon is always the stop. And then, of course, now it's crashing. It crashed at 90%. It's very quiet. Nobody's talking about it anymore. So let's have a look at the investment thesis of what it was when I was looking at it. All right, so here's the stock price of Millennium, and it used to have a different name. It used to have Millennium Acquisition Corporation or something like that. And I was looking at it like right here in 2000. It was about 25 cents, and obviously I didn't invest in it for the reasons that I already told you. And it stayed at this level for quite some time, and then all of a sudden, boom, it shot up to $10 a share, and now it's crashing. It crashed about 90%. So, but still, even if you bought it at the level where I was looking at it, at 25 cents, it would still be like a 5x. Now it has a market cap of about 10 million. So back then it had like a market cap of $2 million. This is what the investment presentation was that I was looking at. And I saved it because this presentation is not available anymore. And as you can see, this was January 2018, and this presentation was on the website for like years. The same presentation, because even though this was dated January 2018, I was looking at it in 2020, and it was still the presentation. And as you can see, the name of the company was Millennium Investment and Acquisition Company, and today it's Millennium Sustainable Ventures Corp. So at that point, this was the presentation, and they literally walked you through what this company owned and why it was a good deal. So obviously you see ticker symbol here. This is obviously outdated because this is not what the market cap was when I was looking at it. But remember, this is dated 2018. But it said that the estimated NAV was net asset value was approximately 34 million. So the market cap was 2 million And you look at something like this, you're like, wow, we got something here, right? And so the three assets that the company had was activated carbon plant located in Hawaii, and it was an ownership interest in SMC Global, Indian financial firm. And then it had approximately almost $3 million of cash and short-term investments. So this is outdated. They had a little bit less cash, but still, you looked at this and you were like, wow, this is a very low risk bet, because for the price that you were paying, you were getting so much more in value. You were getting an activated carbon plant, not an operation, but they're trying to put it into production. And then this alone, SMC Global, it was an ownership interest in this Indian firm, which was trying to go public, but it was still private. But this company was buying out MILC, Millennial. So it was paying them like monthly, but the value of this was more than the market cap. And so it was like such a low risk investment. We didn't know if it was going to move, but it was pretty sure that you couldn't lose money on this. And then when they were talking about the Millennium Carbon, they were talking about blah, 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 what it was. I looked at it and I'm like, it looks to me like another awful mining operation. That's like one of the reasons why I didn't get excited. It's like, oh, we're going to put a plant into production. It's going to produce this and this and that. And I'm like, the memory of the mining stocks for me was like, not too exciting, but it was cheap. It was cheap. That's why I was interested, because it was like, no matter what happens, you weren't going to lose money. And so then they had a projected stabilized annual EBITDA of $5 million from that carbon plant. So you look at it and you're like, wow, if they can actually deliver $5 million of yearly EBITDA after, remaining estimated capital expenditures of about $2 million. So the idea was that they were going to get this $2 million from the Indian firm, and they were going to use that money to, renovate that carbon plant, and then finally, operationally, it was going to produce about $5 million of EBITDA. So then you're like, $5 million EBITDA, what is that worth? Maybe 50 million, right? So 50 million, the market cap is 2 million. It's covered by cash. It's covered by this. Nothing could go wrong. So that was the thesis, right? So then when I looked at the price here, the first thing that came to my mind was like, wow, they put this carbon into production and they successfully did what they were going to do. And the market finally got it and the stock went up 30x, right? Then I looked at the website and this is what I saw. This doesn't look like carbon to me. This looks like pot, right? And that's exactly what happened. The company went into pot production, right? And now the investment thesis, this is the new investment thesis, February 22. And now they're talking about how the assets for this company are Millennium Cannabis and Millennium Carbon. And under the carbon, Millennium Carbon is developing a novel technology to produce activated carbon using organic waste, blah, 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 blah. So in other words, the thesis that I was looking at, it's still the same. We're still working on it. It's not producing yet. So that's not why people got excited. People got excited because of the cannabis, pot. So I'm telling you this because think about this. All it took for the stock to go 30x is for the company to tell investors, we're going to produce pot. That's it. They made nice projections and people bought it. In other words, Canada doesn't have exclusivity on stupidity. Remember how I always talk about that in Canada, TSXV and Canadian Stock Exchange, investors are high on pot and are looking for gold? Well, in US, when it comes to OTC, that too. You tell them pot, their eyes get this big, and then they're like willing to pay any price for the stock. And as the stock was going up, there was so much talk among investors about how great this was going to be. Oh, I'm overpaying. I'm paying $4 for it, but it's going to go to the moon. And if they deliver, it's going to be no problem. And then all of a sudden, prices of cannabis decline, and then the company pulls the guidance for how much they're going to make from selling pot. And that's all it took for the stock to crash 90%. Okay? That's it. That's all it took for the stock to just completely get destroyed. And in one of my videos, I talked about the cannabis business, because at first I looked at this opportunity and I'm like, damn, I missed it. But then I'm like, would I have held on to it if I learned that the company was going to get into cannabis? No, absolutely not. I know myself. I know that cannabis is awful. It's an awful business because everybody and their brother is growing cannabis. So because there's so much supply, it's just a matter of time before the prices of pot just go down. And that's what you're selling, right? So then you have to invest more into equipment just to keep up. And then even when you have a legal license to grow, you always are facing illegal competition that has lower costs. And that's why I never get involved in cannabis. But I wanted to demonstrate you in this video because I've been involved in this. I wanted to show you how crazy projections, crazy euphoria over cannabis everything takes the stock 30x. Then if you think like the rest of them, you buy it at $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $10, and then you're down 90% because of following others and following the euphoria. I don't know if at this price, yeah, probably if they deliver, it might be a good buy. But I don't care if this stock is at 2, 3, 1, 50 cents. If they're going into cannabis, I am out. If they're going to deliver on the carbon production, yeah, that's something that would interest me. But cannabis, no. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Take your time to subscribe to this. Click the notification button. Leave me a comment. Did you get involved in this story? What do you think? Thanks for watching.